Hello, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Power Fridays Live. I'm your host, Janelle Pulley. I'm so happy to be with you this evening as we have a conversation here on Power Fridays Live. On Power Fridays Live, we aim to provide the education about financial security and offer you money management strategies for your personal life and your business. Welcome to Financial Power Fridays Live. Thank you for joining me this evening. And I'm going to have some special guests pop in a little later, but I'm so happy, to be with you this evening on Friday night. I hope it's all right. You've had a great week, had a fantastic Friday. So we're looking forward to diving right into an awesome conversation that we have, regarding financial security. As you will know, that's been the topic the past few weeks, and we are going to take a spin on the financial security conversation this evening and talk about financial security as it relates to parenting. I'm a new parent, as most of you know. I have a daughter, and we are preparing her for retirement now in her infancy. Super excited to look at the various options and opportunities to make this happen. It's very important to start early. I know a lot of people are enjoying the school year starting, and your child is in the next grade. We want to say congratulations, happy school year. I pray everyone is safe at their schools throughout the school year, and we want to continue to have fun and enjoy the activities that the children may be enrolled in. So I want to make sure that we have a conversation about accident insurance. And I know insurance may not be a conversation you expected to hear tonight. When it relates to the little ones and accidents, I want to encourage you. The policy is like super duper cheap, like $10 and some change a month to have an accident policy for your young one, because we never know what may happen and occur with them on school grounds. And if they get hurt on the playground, and they're rushed off to the hospital, we want to make sure our little ones have the accident insurance available to them. So that is one of the opportunities as a parent, to make sure that if anything should arise out of your child being under someone else's care throughout the day, you want to be ready. You want to have something in place so that you won't have to dip into your own pocket. You dip into the insurance company's pocket. And I love to say that. I love to say that we don't have to always dip into our emergency savings, but we can dip into the insurance company's pocket, because that's what you're paying for. You're paying for that access in case something happens. And we want to make sure that you have what you need when you need it, and not need it and not have it. That's like a motto that a lot of people are familiar with. I'd rather have what more than what I need when I don't need it than, need it and not have it. So that's why we here on Financial Power Fridays Live are having this conversation with you, so that you can have what you need when you need it. So with that being said, we are here embarking onto the last bit of the month of August. We're coming up on Life Insurance Awareness Month, but there's a lot of things to celebrate here in the month of August as well. A lot of celebrations here happening. And shout out to all of my August birthdays and everyone joining us tonight, who may have a birthday coming up. And we are preparing for the rest of the year to celebrate life. Celebrate life. Each and every day you live, you wake up, we will celebrate life. So, without further ado, let me share this with you. Okay, great. So, that's your information for a free financial policy review. We are providing that for you. There's a number to call, and I will let you know what that is so that you can get support. So here we are again. Welcome to Power Fridays Live, where we are talking everything financial, financial Power Fridays Live, and financial security and money management strategies for personal life and the entrepreneur. So we're going to share a lot of these strategies with you tonight. We are going to talk about, parenting and money, parents and money. So that's a good conversation to have, right? Parents and money. I recently received a text message from my nephew, and he's wanting money for school clothes. And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. I'll send some money. But he's like, oh, there's this shirt for $70. I was like, I can buy 2 shirts for $70. What shirt do you want that costs $70? Who is it by? I said, I'll, you know, send you some money, but use it wisely and buy 2 shirts, for $70 and not just spend $70 on one shirt. I don't even have a shirt that costs $70 in my closet. And I do have a few name brand items in my closet, but the shirt and the dress did not cost me $70. And it was like, okay, well, whatever you can send, Auntie, I'll be appreciative. And I said, okay. And that's what I did. I sent his mom money and all of that good stuff. So um, it was really good to know that he's looking out for getting support where he needs it. But at the end of the day, the money lesson is there to understand, hey, we don't buy $70 shirts in our family. And why do you think that you need one with no job? So it's like, let's do the household budget here. Let's bring him back to reality. And it's like, do you know what your mom does for a living? Do you know what your aunt does for a living? It's like, hey, do you have a budget for your back to school clothes? In that regard. So um, children, they need to know what it is when comes to money and how much it is when you are taking care of the household. I'll never forget, never ever in my life will I ever forget that all my life, the house that I lived in, I did not own it. My parents gave me permission to stay there. It was their job to have a roof over my head. And it was so funny because it was like, my bedroom, it wasn't my bedroom because it wasn't my house. So it was what I got to have a roof over my head. I got to have great loving parents to make sure I got fed and clothed and all of that good stuff. But we worked for what we got and we understood the value of money. So I want to, understand and help us to have that conversation with our children to understand the value of money and so that we can work this thing together. We're going to explore tonight, the value of money because money is so important, but it's not everything. Of course, we know that it is a tool that helps us achieve our goals and provide for our needs, but it shouldn't be the sole focus of our lives. Money gives us the freedom to pursue our passions and interests, whether it's traveling, starting a business, investing in education, or making another investment. It provides us with a sense of security and stability to allow for us to help others in need. So that is one of the purposes of money. And money isn't about just buying stuff, it's about being able to live the life we want and make a positive impact on the world. That's what we want to use our money for. And we want to circulate the money, of course, back to us. I always say that what Reverend Ike says, we don't spend money, we circulate money. So it is so important to remember that money isn't the only thing that matters. Our relationship to money matters. Our values, our well being are just as important, if not more. I spoke to someone the other day regarding their health and wanting to be healthy. And it's like, it doesn't, money doesn't care how much money you have, if you're not well enough to utilize it to the best of your ability. Your health equals your wealth. I cannot say it enough. The key to finding a balance in using money in a way that supports our overall happiness and fulfillment, that is what is important. Money is a tool, but it should not ever be the sole focus of our lives. We need to use it wisely and in ways that are aligned with our values and priorities. So it's very important to encourage our children to know what it is as it relates to money and what you can do and how you can support your child in accomplishing everything they want to accomplish. School activities cost money. There's a cost to everything. But we want to prepare for the school year. We want to prepare for everything that comes about so that we can have the budget for it. Because over the summer, that school activities were not in your budget, but now the school activities will be in your budget. If you drop your child off to school, the gas that you use in your car and the time that you invest will be in your budget. So I just want to, shed a little light on that and looking at reevaluating your budget every month. That is something that we want to encourage you to do. Reevaluate your budget every single month. And as a parent, we want to look at the opportunities for having the money that we need for our children's activities, our children's clothes, because they are growing and out of their clothes each and every month that each and every day that they get older. They are getting bigger and growing out of their clothes. So we want to make sure that we have the budget for that and have a line item for a clothing budget. So, with that being said, we are going to take a quick commercial break. Excuse me, and I'm going to clear my throat and grab some water in the meantime. Thank you for joining us on Financial Power Fridays Live.
Introducing Money Just Flew Out the Window by Janelle Pulley. Get your copy of the book. Money Just Flew Out the Window. It shows you how to manage and build family wealth. Discover how to protect your family and your future. How to build a proper financial foundation. Discover reasons why you have been financially unstable. Why financial freedom is important. How to key into the financial liberty your fellow men who have this knowledge are enjoying. Discover ways to retain the freedom regardless of your income. Support the family without stress. And lots more. Get your copy of Money Just Flew Out the Window now.
Now, hey, hey, hey.
September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. There has been a great deal of uncertainty this year. Have you reviewed your life insurance policy? If not, there is probably an upgrade available where you can save money, keep it safe, and have tax advantages. Or do you not have any coverage due to a layoff or job loss? We are here to help solve this problem for you and your family. Think about your needs to cover burial and final expenses, replace lost wages income from your job, nursing home/long-term care, or even transfer wealth or leave an inheritance to your loved ones. Would you like to see if there is an upgrade available for you and your family if you had a health issue? Let's see if we can provide you and your family peace of mind. Schedule a free no-obligation consultation today. Learn how the numbers work for you. Call Janelle Borzotra at 404-689-8441 or visit www.thewealthygap.info.
Hello, thank you for coming back with Power Fridays Live. I got my screen, and we have our special guest tonight, Kim Smith, with Venture Financial Services. So we're super excited to have her with us, and Yolanda, she's here as well. So we're bringing Yolanda up and Kim Smith. Hi, welcome. Thank you for
Hi,
joining me this evening on Power Fridays Live. How are you doing?
doing great. How are you?
Doing awesome this evening. Thank you so much for being here. And good evening, Yolanda. How are you? Okay, so Yolanda's working out her audio
Okay.
right now. So how are you? How was your day today, Kim?
It was good. It was productive. We'll put it that way.
Oh, great.
A
Well,
lot of
it was.
meetings, but productive.
Oh, perfect, perfect. So I really am so excited to have you here with us this
Janelle, you
evening.
should be able to hear me now.
I can hear you now,
Now we can hear
Yolanda.
you.
Great. So I was starting the conversation off about parents and money this evening, and I am so happy to have Kim here with us. And Kim, can you share with us a little bit about yourself and where you're located and what you do?
Sure. So I'm in Lake Dallas, Texas. So I'm in the big city, the big state of Texas, and I work for Venture Financial Group. I'm an asset and broker for them, and basically I help individuals and families to reassess their assets and everything, and try and fix it to where their money works for them instead of against them. So I've been in this business since around 1985, 84, somewhere in there. I've been in the insurance world all that time. And I've seen it like progress. Like I've been to the point where we had the red and white forms, and you filled them all out, and then you mailed them in, and you hope that you got a check back in the mail instead of a claim saying, oh, you forgot to do this or you forgot to do that. So there's always checks and balances you always had to put in place, because you didn't want those coming back to you. You wanted the checks to come back to you. So
And
I've worked for different doctors' offices, different facilities. I've worked for Denton County MHMR, the Mental Health and Renal Retardation Center, and helped them actually establish their initial insurance for the Medicare side and the private insurance side. They were already doing Medicaid, but they had not done the private insurances or the Medicare and billed them. They were just, doing everybody at a sliding scale fee like they do. So I actually got that started with them and made them, a lot of money, a lot of checks coming in, because you could go back so far and, request those claim or request the payment for, so many years. Back then it was like, I believe it was like almost 10 years that you could request back to. Um, so, there was a lot of money to make. Some of them got paid, some didn't. It just really depended on the procedure, the CPT code, all the wonderful little, insurance language back then. Um,
right.
I've done that. I've worked for a school district as the benefits coordinator and risk management, or the coordinator of benefits and risk management. So I've done that, and I've helped employees get life insurance and help them set up for their other benefits and stuff. But one of the biggest reasons, and I don't know, if this is what you'd like for me to share, one of the biggest reasons why I got in this business.
Yes.
So back in 2006, my first husband passed away, and I had two children. They were 10 and 12 at the time, two sons. And one of the biggest problems is that we had no life insurance coverage. We had no extra final expense or nothing like that. And so I was a single mom. I didn't work because I took care of the kids. He was, the only, income at that time. And I had to go back to work. I had to find those jobs. So I was working two jobs, never really got to see my kids too much. I thank the Lord I had a great neighbor next door that actually helped me to
Yeah.
to raise my boys. She made sure they went to school when I was, having to work those long hours. And then I kept trying to make ends meet as much as I could until I found out that there was a double mortgage on my house, and the insurance on the vehicles had been dropped. And that was, the gap insurance is what I should say. It was dropped. The gap on the house was dropped prior to him passing. And it was like, okay, no, but I didn't know any of that. And so there's a lot of women out there, and men, but it doesn't matter, which one, that
Yeah.
don't know what is happening with their bills, with their, with um, what insurance is being paid and what's not. And so for me, when I found that out, I was already to the point where I was fixing to lose the house we were living in. So I had to quickly sell the house. Sold the house. It was over a $300,000 home, and sold it, and winded up with only $25
Oh,
at
wow.
the selling of that home. And so I, tried to keep making ends meet, tried to find us places to stay, and, with other people and things. And then finally, my oldest went off to college on a full paid scholarship, thank goodness.
Yes.
So he went on cross country, full paid scholarship, first time ever for that to be ever be
Woohoo!
done. So I know it was God.
Yeah.
And then my youngest was living in his own apartment, and he was a senior in high school, a junior senior in high school. He had his own apartment and was using the death benefits he was getting for his dad's passing.
Mhm.
He was doing that, and I was trying to figure out where I was going to live, and so I became homeless in 2010.
Mhm.
And for 2 years, I lived in a house with no electricity, a roof that leaked, and windows that were broken and boarded up. And I lived out in this house. It did have well water, so I had water at least. No
Mhm.
electricity, and it was one of the
Oh,
hottest times, the hottest summers, and one of the coldest winters. Um, but I got closer to God then. It was my time to figure out where God wanted me, and then I also got to find out who I was. So
yes.
backing up just a little bit, I was abused as a child,
Mhm.
and I got married at 17. And my first husband became my second abuser. And so for 21 years, I was being abused by him. But I had two wonderful sons from him. I mean, I do. I have two great sons. They're both very intelligent, very smart. And one's has a master's in psychology and a minor in behavioral science, and works for
Oh,
kids that are wards of the state, and that are, kids that have issues, kids that are abused, and, things like that. He has a wonderful fiance who he just proposed to yesterday, I found out.
oh,
Uh,
congratulations.
and she works with autistic kids. So she has a master's in psychology and behavioral health, and she works with autistic kids. So they both work
Okay.
with different, different means of children, different, and trying to help them, to be better. Um,
Yes.
and then my youngest he actually works for a company called Steven Industries, and he is their head tech. He's built his own AI, so his own artificial intelligence, and his name is Chip. And he taught himself how to do that. He didn't graduate from college or anything, but he did graduate from high school, and he's self-taught. He's taught himself all of that. But
Awesome.
moving forward, so in 2010, I had all that going against me. So one of the biggest things is and this is, I'm an advocate for both, to help those women, those men who are being abused by their spouse, to those children that have been abused in their life. Don't let it make you who you are. Be
Mhm.
somebody better. Don't let them keep winning, is what I kept telling myself. I would refuse to allow any of them to win. And so I got to figure out what kind of eggs I like. I got to figure out what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be. I love that movie, Runaway Bride. And in the Runaway Bride, she has to figure out what kind of eggs she likes, because she's
Yeah.
so used to everybody telling her what she likes, what she doesn't like, what she's going to do, what she's not going to do. And
Right.
that was me. That
Uh,
was me in a matter of sense. I
yes.
didn't know what kind of eggs I really liked. I didn't know what I wanted to be, who I wanted to be. I didn't know a lot about myself. And so I got a chance to find that out. I got a chance to get very close to God. I read the Bible a couple of times. Read everything I could find at the public library. If I had, enough gas to get to the public library, I'd drive a car, over there. My youngest tried to help me as much as he could with, trying to at least get gas money. And I had an old beat up vehicle I borrowed from somebody. And so I tried to read as much as I could from, God's word. And then in 2013, the Lord said, okay, it's time. And so he moved me in with my youngest son, and I slept on his couch. And he's like, Mom, how long are you going to be here? And I was like, I'm going to do my darndest to find a job. And so he was like, okay. He said, well, there's, the couch is here because he only had a 1 bedroom. And he said, I'd give you the bedroom. I said, no, no, no. You keep your bedroom. It's got your bathroom attached to it. I'll be okay. So I slept on his couch. And that was in May of 2013. By August of 2013, I had a job working for Denton ISD at the school district. And I started off as a benefit specialist, again with the benefits. And then, I worked there for 11 years, a little over 10 years, almost 11 years. And so in January of 2024, I decided, you know what? I need to start helping men and women make sure they have that coverage, make sure that they have things taken care of before their spouse passes away. Because once they pass away, then you could be like me, be stuck being homeless and not having the money to go here, go there, to take care of your bills, to take care of your children. And so I wanted to do that. And I've seen, working for the different companies I've worked for, I've seen, women who had coverage, but at their jobs.
Right.
What
Yeah.
people don't realize is that your benefits you have at your job are controlled by your job. And
Yes.
life insurance, those policies you're getting, that's all great. But when it comes to after you pass away, that's when they do your underwriting. So when you have a job and you're getting life insurance through them, that underwriting, so if you've had any medical issues from the time you started that policy to the time you pass away, any medical issues, that's when they take that into account. And
Wow.
they alter the amount that your beneficiary is going to get.
Wow, so you're telling me from your experience that
Mhm.
your spouse could have had $100,000 policy through his job, and at the end of the day, however he passed away, they said you're only getting X number of dollars and not that full 100,000.
Yeah, they can do that.
Wow.
They have that option. Now, thank goodness his did pay for his funeral, but it
Yes.
didn't pay for us to continue. And those death benefits only last so long. Spouse will only get one time amount for their death benefits from their spouse. But a child will get up until the first child will get up until they're 18. The second child will only get it till they're 16. And they didn't tell me that. If I had
Oh,
known that, it would have helped. It would have been great. But yeah, my youngest got it till he was 16. The oldest got it until he's 18. And I'm like,
wow.
that doesn't make sense that the state does that. That at the
Wow.
age of 16, you're considering him to already be an adult and be able to make a means for himself. That not at 16, they're still in high school. They're still
Right.
going through school.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so that was another big issue
Yes.
on top of everything else.
Well, Kim, I do thank you so much for sharing your story and being vulnerable with us this evening.
Oh yeah.
And I'm so glad that God turned everything around for you. You kept the faith and you
Mhm.
were steadfast and you sought refuge in Him during the hardest times in your life. And that is when we need Him the most.
Yes.
And thank you so much for sharing your
Yeah,
story.
no
And
problem.
you have come a
Janelle, can I
mighty,
just
mighty
jump
long
in for a
way.
second?
Yes, go ahead.
I just need to jump in. I'm sorry. I just need to exhale for you. I
Mhm.
needed to do that.
It's by the
And
grace
I
of
needed
God
to
I am here today. It is.
I needed to do an exhale, and I was holding it in as I listened to you, and I just need to salute you
Thank you.
as a sister, and your testimony is transformative to anyone who would hear it. So I don't know how much longer we have you with us this evening. I
Mhm.
definitely will have a few questions, but I needed to just pause and exhale. And I don't have a hat on, but my invisible hat, sister, I take it off to you.
Thank you. I will tell you, it's by God. It's by the grace of God.
You are beyond amazing.
He also blessed me with a wonderful God fearing man. So I do have a husband that I met him in
Wonderful.
September of
Wonderful.
2013. We were married at our church, which is called it's called the Gloria Zion International Ministry. He proposed to me out in the prayer garden, the Israel prayer garden. And of course, I
All
said
right.
yes. So in October 25th of 2015, we got married. So it's been awesome.
Now that's where
Oh,
you want to be proposed to in a prayer garden. I like that.
Hmm.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. And I'm happy. for
Yeah.
your turnaround. And yeah, beautiful. And I love the fact that you give you acknowledge God in your process.
Oh,
And
definitely have to.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yes,
So
beautiful,
thank you,
beautiful,
thank you, thank
beautiful.
you. Janelle,
Thank
I'll
you.
turn it back to you because I
Well,
have, a few more questions,
I
but
know you
wait.
could. Yeah, you can ask your questions because Kim and I, we just recently met virtually, and
Oh,
I
we
was
did.
just so fascinated by her story. And I said, "Oh, I've
Wow.
got this show, and I'm so happy you just came on." And I did not know you were that powerful. That woman, you are Kim. You are speaking with power,
Yeah.
God Almighty, and that is what we're here to share. That power that you have, just and don't keep it shut up. Don't keep silent, let us know, let and I know that you let people know in your business, the importance of that. And of
Yeah.
course, insurance is, not a sexy word. Let's
No,
be real.
no, it's
Insurance
not.
isn't sexy. But whenever you think about, it's like your job, and with what's going on in America, we're talking United States, and what would have happened if he didn't have the policy that he had, and then with him having only the policy that he had, then what occurred? And I
Mhm.
recently lost my dad a couple of years ago,
Mhm.
and he was getting the social security check, my mom's getting her money, and so I kept sharing. I said, well, there's that windfall offset elimination, dad, that if they didn't pay into the 40 quarters, and if they da 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 da, it happened in
Yep.
the Reagan administration, if you didn't pay into social security. I know the school teacher right now today in DeKalb County whose husband passed away.
Mhm.
She worked in as an educator in the school system, never paid into Social Security,
Right.
and when he passed away, she had to return that check he was getting,
Yep.
and
Mhm.
I was devastated for her. And
Mhm.
these are the conversations that we need to have with people.
Yep.
That GoFundMe is not your lifeline.
No, it's not.
And
No,
then
and
again, back in the day when you were going through what you were going through, what did it even exist?
nope, it didn't.
Yeah.
No, and a lot of teachers don't realize that the teachers' retirement system is not going to be around forever, and that's where they pay their Social Security in, because that's where I was doing at that time when I was working
Hmm.
there. What they need to realize is that their money is not working for them; their money's working against them. And
Mm.
putting them in this 401s and 457s, you're playing in the market. They could very well, instead of putting that money in a 401k, even though some employers match it, but
Yeah.
instead of putting it in that 401k, they could actually be investing it into an index universal life policy where their money's going to gain interest. They can actually borrow against it. After so many years, you can start borrowing against it, tax free. After 10
Yes.
years, you can borrow up to 10% of it and not have to pay it back. You can borrow up to
Wow.
10% of it and not have to pay interest on it, not have to pay, taxes on it. They could also do an annuity. If they have enough, some of these teachers are, 20, 30 years into the schools, they could actually, when they get ready to pull their money or they get ready to pull their retirement out, they could actually convert it over to an index annuity.
Hmm.
So, and that annuity can grow them interest. That annuity can also you know, be moved over to their beneficiary. It could be also, they could take some of that money and buy life insurance policies for their grandbabies, their grandchildren, their great
Yeah.
grandchildren, and invest in their future. So that when they get to be 21, they're not going to have to worry about those EOI. I mean, those that evidence of insurability, where they're going
Yes.
to have to ask these health questions in order to get a package. But because they're healthy now is the time when they should put them in a package to where it's gaining that interest. When they get ready to go to college, they're not going to be stuck with college loans. They're not going to be stuck with, even if they don't go to college, but they could use it to invest in a house. They could use it to do this or do that. So there's means of things that families can do for their kids and their grandkids. And those grandkids are going to love them to death, because even after grandma, great grandma, grandpa, grandpa are gone, they're going to have a lasting legacy, because they're going to be like, I got to do this because of grandma or because of great grandma.
Yes.
And so those are things that they need to
Well,
realize as well. So and let me add one more thing to my list of things that happened. So in 2013, the Lord blessed me with my new husband who actually said, if you want to finish your college degree, you can. And so
Oh.
in 2018, I graduated with my bachelor's. And in 2020, I graduated with my master's. So I have a master's in business administration with an emphasis on strategic human resource management. And I was told in school that I would never amount to anything or go to college and that I would always be a C and D student. I
Oh.
graduated with my bachelor's with a
Woo!
3.21, which is a B, and I graduated with my master's with a 3.51,
Oh,
which is an
wonderful.
A. So don't ever
Come
let
on,
somebody
somebody.
tell, and
So
that's one
Kim,
thing I want
there
people to understand. Don't let somebody tell you you can't do something because you can. What up,
this
you
is
love?
bigger than that, girl. Listen, there is a bigger platform waiting for you somewhere. I know it's growing into it, but just remember me saying this on this day, there is a bigger platform for you. And, I'm listening to you talk, and it sounds like marriage counseling is being done wrong. Um, this needs to be incorporated into marriage counseling sessions. We don't
Yes.
hit this stuff. They do finances at the basic level. But if we're talking
Yeah.
about building life together and creating and building a family together, or sometimes we inherit a family, we're
Mhm.
talking about future planning, but we don't always hit it at this level. How do we incorporate this into people starting their beginning together, that new life together? Although, is that something that you do? Because I'm listening to you speak. Um, and that needs to be there somewhere. This needs to be incorporated at that level. And I think you might be the person to initiate that somewhere. I know you're one person, but it would behoove a
Mhm.
lot of ministerial staff or pastors who are providing marriage counseling to contract you, girl. And I use
Thank
girl as a term of endearment, to
thank
bring you in to this part of marriage, because you're speaking about longevity. You're speaking about family planning. So how do we do
you.
family planning if we miss it at the beginning? What are your
Yep.
thoughts on that?
So, yeah, kind of took me by surprise on that one. But it starts with making sure you're in the right relationship. You're making sure you're in what God wants you to be in. Because I got tired of cleaning up my messes, even though God's always there with me. But this time, I decided that next round, I was like, you know what, Lord, I give up. I'm done. I give it to you. You make the decision. But this is what I want. I want a man who's going to treat me like you want me to be treated. I want a man who's going to open the door for me, who's going to ask me, what do I need? And when my now husband, I'm telling you this, so that man was homeless too. Okay. So he was homeless in his own world. We crossed paths back when I was 16. He was working two doors over in and this is so crazy because our testimony is so huge, but he was working at a motel as the garden maintenance. Okay. I was working as the head drive through at Grandy's restaurant. So I could have seen him, but I didn't know who he was. I didn't know nothing about him. Go on a little bit longer, and at some point, I'm taking my vehicle to the same car wash that he was the manager of. I'm working directly across the street from where he is. His brother is living in the same complex as I'm living, and diagonal, he's living on the other side of the street. So we crossed paths so many times, but we never knew each other. God's like, you're not ready and you're not ready. When you two are
He
ready
was preparing you.
to me, then I'm going to let you guys see each other. But until then, you're not ready. So when we got together online, believe it or not. We got together online, and he kind of convinced me finally to come meet him at the Garden Ridge. I mean, not Garden Ridge, at Olive Garden. So our first day was Olive Garden. So everything starts in the garden, okay? Literally, okay?
Oh, I love it.
So we
I
met at
love it. I'm going there tomorrow for lunch.
There you go.
Actually, that's where I have plans for dinner tonight, but they're not paying us for a sponsorship.
That's all right. You have a husband already. I'm going to the garden
There you
first.
go. So I'm sitting in the parking lot of the mall, driving around going, Lord, are you sure this is who you want me to meet? Because I'm looking at his picture online and it is him standing against a white wall with a little white tank top. You know, they had bad names for those kind of shirts he's wearing. And he's just standing there. And I'm like, Lord, am I getting into
Right,
another?
we know it.
Is this going to be another one? Am I going to,
Oh,
all
yeah.
right, Lord, if this is where you want me to be. And I kept driving around and he texted me. He says, hey, I'm here. And whenever you're ready, just let me know and I'll meet you at the door. And I was like, okay, that's check number one.
Mhm.
So I finally said, okay, whatever. Okay, so Lord, I'm just going to go ahead and go. And if anything, it's a free meal. And I'll just order the most expensive food and the most expensive bottle of wine if I don't like him. We get
Well,
there.
your
Three and
steps
a
are
half
being ordered.
3.5 hours later, we leave. Okay.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
if you want to know if a man is really right for you, do like I did. I get there to the restaurant. He greets me at the door and we sit down. Believe it or not, we sat in the bar at one of the booths in the bar.
Mhm.
And I literally threw up everything that I wanted in a man, what I had been through, what I didn't want, what I wanted. And he did the same. So if you really
Wonderful.
want the right man, give it all to him. Throw your whole baggage out there. Throw everything up on the table and say, this is what you're going to get. You
Mhm.
either take it or leave it. Don't matter to me. 3.5 hours later, we left.
Wow.
Laughing, having a great time. That waiter got a good tip. We took our food with us because we couldn't eat. We were too busy laughing all the time.
Wow.
And so
Awesome.
3.5 hours we left. That afternoon, I had just got my
Mhm.
car back out of the shop before I met him. That late afternoon, my car's broke down and
Oh.
I'm on the side of the road and I get a text and he says, hey, just wanted to let you know I had a great time. Would love to go out on another date. What do you think? And I said, I don't know. Right now I'm on the side of the road. And his words were, what do you need me to do for you? And
Woo.
I knew because that was what I told the Lord. I wanted the man to tell me, what do you want me to do for you? I
Mhm.
wanted a man to put me first. And that's what
Ah.
he asked me. And I said, I'm on my way to the dealership to drop the car back off. The tow truck's going. He says, I'll meet you there. And he was there waiting on me to make sure I got a rental, make sure I was taken care of. Now, this was a man I just met, but
We
the
need
Lord
your
said,
check. We
this is
need your checklist. We need your checklist,
Yeah.
Kim.
And make sure
Give
you
us
tell
your
him we said hello. And I'm going to go to the Olive Garden tomorrow.
there you
I don't
go.
have a date, but maybe I'll see somebody there at the garden.
Oh,
So,
sit at the bar.
Kim, thank you for sharing that. I'm
yes.
going to
Yes.
sit at the bar. Thank you for sharing that, your
Oh.
transparency. It's so much that you shared. It's so much information that you shared. It's hard to know where to pinpoint the question. So I would start with I heard you say you were tired of your messes. You wanted to clean up your messes.
Yep.
Mhm.
So, on a financial level, for someone who thought that they prepared, by doing a 401k at work or whatever it might be, and they may want to do something different, or someone who's starting late,
Mhm.
where would you tell them to create that starting point, and what would you suggest their first move be? So, for someone who doesn't know, they have, the policies through their job. Where would you tell them to start?
So my first thing was that I would tell them is when you get ready to do your next open enrollment, because everybody has an open enrollment time. When you get ready to do your next open enrollment, because you cannot get out of a life insurance. Most companies won't let you just drop out of a life insurance policy because you have another one. Okay. So, especially school districts, I'll tell you that piece. But I will say this when you get ready for your next open enrollment, what you need to do is you need to reach out to an independent agent, one outside of your work, because inside your work, you're just, yeah, we'll sign you up for the policy, no problem. We'll give you whatever. But the underwriting doesn't come out till after. And
Mhm.
that's where it gets people. And the other thing is when they get ready to pay out, they don't pay out really quick. I know when I left the district, there was a lady who was still, her daughter was still waiting for the death benefits. But the
Wow.
problem was, is that, and this is something that a lot of people don't know too, is the fact that if you're out, let's say for maternity leave, or you're out because of a medical condition, cancer or whatever it may be, but if you're out and your benefits automatically roll over, but if you're out come day one of your new coverage starting,
Mm.
and you pass away a day or two later, they don't have to cover you. They won't cover you because you did not work at least that one day in the new plan year. And so you wind up, and
Oh
that's what
wow.
happened to her. Her daughter got nothing, got no death benefits, no nothing, because her mom went out for cancer.
Oh,
She was
wow.
out on leave. Come September 1, when the benefits started back over, she wasn't able to come and work one day or 1 hour that day. And
Wow.
she passed away on the 18th of September. And
Mm.
her daughter got nothing.
Wow.
So
And she
Wow.
probably worked for years, for many
she had
years
been
up
there for
until that
20
point.
plus years. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was ready to retire and she would have retired, but she developed cancer. She was
Wow.
wheelchair bound and everything. And it
Wow.
winded up that that's what happened to her. Now, the other piece is that they don't pay you within 72 hours.
Mm-mm.
They
But
can wait a month. And they
and
had
the,
already waited a month before they finally told her the truth.
wow. And
So
mm,
that's the other piece.
Oh
If
wow.
if you are wanting to make sure your family's taken care of, you
mhm,
want to get a policy outside of your job
mhm,
because one, you're in control of it. Two, we do the underwriting ahead of time. So once you qualify, once you get that policy, you're good. As long as you pay your premiums, you're good. But when you pass away, they'll pay it within 72 hours at the max. Some pay
mhm,
within 24 hours. Okay. The other thing is that you can also get what's called living benefits. The living benefits are for your critical, your chronic, and your terminal illness. So if you have a critical illness, let's say you have, you broke your leg and you're down for a while, you can actually get an acceleration of some of your benefits, some of your death benefits, and they will pay you like your paycheck each month so that you're not out money to help you get better to get back in. If you have a chronic illness, they will accelerate a certain percentage. Most carriers will accelerate a certain percentage of your death benefits so that you can continue to live on a
mhm.
little bit extra money. You continue to live, but at the same time, we know you're not going to get healed, but yet we know that you're going to need this money. But then if you're terminally ill and you've been diagnosed with a disease that within 12 to 24 hours you're going to pass, they know you're going to pass away,
Yeah.
will accelerate up to 90% of your death benefits so
Mhm.
that you and your
Wow.
family can have those lasting memories. You can do those bucket lists. And then when you do pass away, they pay your family within 72 hours the remainder of that death benefit.
I had a friend of mine who had gone through underwriting, healthy as a horse,
Mm-hmm.
and months later, with like a year or two later, I don't know what the time frame is. Maybe it was a year or
Mm-hmm.
two later, was diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Yeah.
And that type of policy, he had that type of policy, and they accelerated a benefit.
Yeah.
And he is almost 80
Yeah.
years old now, and that happened more than a
Yeah.
Wow.
decade ago.
And they're
And
called living benefits. Yeah. And that's the thing with chronic illness, statistics show that a person who is diagnosed with something that is, critical ill, that won't be healed could live up to 12 years long, 12 more years with that
yeah,
diagnosis before they pass away. And most of the time when somebody has a critical illness, they do last longer, several years down the road. So wouldn't it be more beneficial for that person to be able to get those extra benefits, those extra
mhm,
funds to help take care of chemotherapy, radiation,
right.
any other cost that comes out for medical benefit, medical issues,
Mhm.
or just to take your family on a trip while you still can?
Exactly. And I had a girlfriend who my best friend, she was diagnosed with a form of cancer, and they were
Mhm.
able to cure the cancer, right? It was
Mhm.
left her body. She's in remission. Well, I'd be damned if 2, 3 years later she got cancer again in a different part of her body, and
Yep.
then they pay her
Wow.
cancer benefit. She
Yeah.
had a cancer policy, but they didn't pay it the first time.
Mhm.
I mean, I
They
supported her,
won't.
helped her, advocated for her, and
Yeah.
they're like, "You're fine. Everything shows that it's gone."
Mhm.
And they did not pay her when she was diagnosed with
Wow.
cancer. Now that she's been diagnosed a second time with cancer,
Now they
then
want to pay her.
that's when, yeah, I said, well, you should get double for your trouble.
Mhm.
So now they're like, oh, we can pay you
Kim,
now,
I
and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Well,
why?
we'll tell you this real quick. There are two more things that a living benefits can offer on some carriers are now starting to offer. They're also offering for Alzheimer's, for a
Mm,
person who's diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So it's a
wow.
critical Alzheimer's. Critical illness is Alzheimer's. That's part of it. But they have a separate one for just Alzheimer's, and they have a one for critical injury. So if
Mm,
you're injured with something that you are never going to be healed from, you lost your sight or something, then there's also living benefits to take care of. Some carriers take care of that as well.
oh
Now,
wow.
not all carriers. So you've got to make sure if you're
Right.
going to check with an insurance agent, if you're going to look for one, you need to tell them you want to make sure that it has living benefits. It's
Mm-hmm.
better to get it while you're healthy. It's better to get it while you're young because the older you get, the more it's going to cost.
Right.
Any medical issues you have between now and getting that policy, it's also going to cost you. We have some policies that will even take you if you just vape, but you don't smoke tobacco.
Mm.
But if you vape, there are carriers that'll carry you.
As a smoker?
There are some that'll carry you as a smoker, and there's some that'll carry you as a vapor. If you
Oh,
just
so
vape.
they don't
wow.
have a non-smoking, so you can't get coverage
Oh no, some do
non-smoking?
non-smoking, but I'm just saying those are your biggest two right now is
Right.
smoking cigarettes or vaping. And so
Oh,
we
okay.
do have carriers that'll carry for both of those as well.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So
And
Kim, when
there's
you
a,
say
yeah.
that,
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, Yolanda.
so Kim, would you say that smoking is one of the biggest obstacles to people getting coverage? Would that be one of the bigger
That
hindrances?
is that is a factor in the price. Other factors is your medical history. If you've had diabetes prior to the age of 30, if you've been diagnosed with diabetes as a child and you continue, and it never has been fixed, that is a barrier. They're barriers, but they're not really anything to stop you. Because I just got one of my agents. Actually, she's type 1 diabetic, has had it since she was 13, and she's now in her 30s, but I was able to get her a policy. So
Mm-hmm.
there are carriers out there that'll do it. There's also carriers, and this part I really love. We have some carriers that will actually, when you pass away, they will make a donation to an organization that you want, either
Oh
10%
wow.
of your policy, of the price of or the amount of your policy. So if you have a $500,000 policy, they'll donate up to 10% in wherever you want it to be, or they'll give
Oh,
it
that's awesome.
they'll give them $1,000 depending on how long you've had your policy.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Wow.
there's a
Kim,
lot of
I heard you say that. Yeah, I heard you say that even if you have a policy at work, you should get an independent agent. You
an
mentioned that
independent
outside of having a
policy.
policy outside of work, outside of your job, speak a little bit about having an independent agent in alignment with what you set up at work.
So if you get an independent agent like myself, I'm a broker, which means I can go and I can look for you a package. I can look for you coverage with over in our case, we have over 100 different agencies that we use. So we can go out there and we can search, one, for the best coverage for you, two, for the best price, and three, like I said, we want to get those living benefits attached to it. Okay. We want to see, is there a way that we can get you into a universal, a universal, no, an
Index
index
universal.
universal life. Thank you. I always do that. I want to say UIL instead of IUL. We want to see if we can get you into one where your benefits are going to make you money instead of costing you a lot of money. We want to make you money as well. And that's our biggest goal, is to make sure you as an individual are taken care of along with your family once you've gone. But when I say an independent agent, you've got to look at the right independent agent and ask them before you choose somebody. Ask them. So if I come to you with a needing a policy, I need a final expense policy. How many carriers are you going to go look at? And if they say, oh, we only do one, then you need to step back and you need to go find somebody else. If they say we do two, you need to step back and go look for somebody else, because you want a person who's going to look for you, for the best interest for you. Because when you have somebody who just has one or two, they're looking at the best interest for themselves,
Mhm.
to be honest, because we work off a
Okay.
commission. We're 1099 employees. We work off a commission off of policies we sell. And so
Mhm.
it's best to find somebody who has more than one carrier.
And that wants to work for you and not work for what's going to help them in the long run.
Right.
And and not singing that song and dance about only term insurance that they offer too. That's the other caveat. It's like if they only offer term, then
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
want to use.
And there's some that
Yeah.
just offer whole life. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, you want to know, you want somebody who's going to offer a wide range of things. And when you
Yes.
have somebody who has more than one carrier, you're getting a wide range of things. You're getting a term, you're getting a whole life, you're getting a, guaranteed life, you're getting an index universal life, you're also getting the ability to ask them if they do annuities, because then they can look at an annuity for you. So you want to get somebody who's going to offer you more than just a whole life policy or just a simple term life policy. You want somebody who's going to give you more to choose from. Because I don't know about you, but if I go to the store and somebody says, this is the rack and there's this dress and this dress, and I don't like either color of them, I'm going to walk away.
Mhm.
But if they tell me that's all I can choose from, then I choose to go around naked, okay? Nobody wants that.
Yes. You got to be street legal these days.
So, Kim, if someone,
Yes, ma'am.
depending on where you are, so Kim, if someone listening tonight wanted to reach out to you, what states are you licensed in?
So I am licensed in Texas, Louisiana, Arizona, Hawaii, New Mexico, right now. But that doesn't mean that I can't be licensed in any other state. So if a person, this is the good thing, if a person wants to become a licensed agent and sell life insurance, we actually help people do that too. We actually put them through their pre-licensing course and allow them to. It's like $39.99 for them to go through the pre-licensing course, and you have to do that before you can get licensed. But we'll help you go through the pre-licensing course. We'll keep up with you, keep checking on you, help test you, try and get you ready. Then you go take your license. You only have to take the license one time and pass it with a 70 or better. Once you pass that license and they finally give you your license, you're all, decked out with everything. You can go and purchase any license from any other state. All you have to do is pay the cost for
Mhm.
that state. But other than that, you don't have to take the test again. So that's what I'm saying. I may be licensed in only 5, but that's because I choose the main 5 that are around me that would be most beneficial for me. Now I could choose Oklahoma, but there's not that many that I get in Oklahoma. I could choose uh,
Right.
Arkansas, but I really, haven't gone that route yet. So
Mhm.
buying all 50 states is not going to do me any good, because if I'm not selling in the 5 states I've got, what's
Mhm.
the use in going somewhere else? Because all I'm doing is buying states that I may not even get to sell.
Right.
If I
Right.
had somebody who was in Washington, I've got an agent who can do it. If I had
Mhm.
somebody who was in Tennessee, I've got an agent who can do it. So I have agents underneath me that have other licenses along with the same as I have. Um, so it's not a we can't do it. It just means that one of my agents and I would be the one who goes and helps them get their policy.
Mhm.
So
Well,
if
you
that
let me know if you have anybody in New York. You let me know if you have anyone in New York State.
I do. I do have somebody in New York. I have somebody in Florida. I have somebody in Arizona and Vegas. We actually have about 5 in Vegas right now, and we have
Mhm.
2 in California. So
Mhm.
yeah,
You
so
just met me in Georgia. We
I
gotta
can
have
do
that.
Georgia. I've
We'll
had
have.
several people one in Georgia. Actually, no, I do have an agent. I just hired an agent that's in Georgia. I forgot about that.
Oh,
Georgia and
congrats.
Alabama. So I've
Oh,
got both of
cool.
those. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
Wonderful.
I'll do a follow up with you regarding New York State. This has been great. This has been beyond great. We could actually do a
A
few more
part two.
sessions with you to really get, yeah, to really
Anytime.
to really
I'd be
get
happy to
to,
answer anything or
the
help
root of
anybody.
everything. Let me ask you a question. Do you how do people with kidney disease fare in all of this? Because that's one of the illnesses that doesn't get a lot of coverage. And I'm asking because I tend to work with people that have end stage renal disease. And a lot of times it's hard for them to get coverage. So while I have you on
Mhm.
tonight's call, let me just put that out there to you because I deal with people from across the country
So
in
there
those
is a
states
policy
where
that
you are
people,
licensed, and there are people that are looking.
yeah, there is a policy that people can get. It's called a guaranteed life. It's final expense coverage, and it's not subject to anybody with medical, like, you don't answer any medical questions, and it doesn't matter about your health. It's just a guaranteed policy. The cost is going to come when it comes to the age. So the younger person who's got all these issues, if they're 40 or older, they can get a guaranteed life. If they are below the age of 40, those are going to be the ones that are going to have to be subject to the medical questions. But we could still find them one. We could very well find them one. It's going to be possibly costly. That's the problem. It's the
Sure.
cost that usually people have to deal with.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of medical issues that they take care of. There's a lot of coverages we can get. Really, the only biggest thing that would keep you from getting a policy is if you've had an arrest, if you've been arrested, because insurance companies consider you a high risk. If you've had a DWI, if you've really, those are the main ones. Or if you did something with fraud, you did a policy, then you backed out of it, and then you did it again and you backed out of it. So there's a couple of different things that would stop you, but it's not as much medical as it is everything else. So, but we could
Okay.
look, find the best policies. And just because we go through our platform where we go through and we put your information in and we look at all the different lists, all the different things that are offered to you, if there's not anything offered to you, that's okay. Because what we do is we go out to the carrier themselves and we say, hey, can you give us a policy for da 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 da? And we
Mhm.
have 10 of our very top policies that we love to use, that are 10 of our top companies we love to use.
Mhm.
And so we would go out to them first and see what we could do, see what we could find for you. And then we would go to the next one and then the next one. And so
Mhm.
until we could find the right policy for you and get you something, a coverage that is worth you paying for, meaning you're not just getting $1,000 coverage for $50, that's not going to do you any good. Just like the commercials. Oh, you can get one for $9.99. Guess what? That is their hook to get you in, because if you read the little tiny fine print, it's $9.99 per 1,000 of
Yeah.
coverage. So
Yeah,
you
per
want $1,000
$1,000.
of coverage? Yeah, pay $9.99. Yeah.
Times. Yeah. And the other reason, another friend of mine, she had put in for a policy, had blood work done. She's in the underwriting phase, got a headache, went to the hospital, and then they started running a whole bunch of tests.
Mm.
And she was hospitalized. Well, the underwriters came back with, we're not going to do the policy now. So because she had gotten sick right after she had wanted to sign up to get the insurance, that is another thing that happens. If you get hospitalized going through the underwriting process, that where you would not be able to get insurance.
This is right.
So I
That's
wanted
right.
to share that
And
story
the other piece
because
Wow.
is
yeah.
if even if they backed out of the policy she was doing, then she's subject to whatever they found.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why we tell people, while you're young and while you're healthy is the time to get it. Don't wait until you're sick or that you're old to be able to get one. Because
Mhm.
I just tried to get a policy for a lady who is 63, and it's going to cost her over 300 and something dollars a month.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to pay that. Not for $100,000 life insurance
Right.
policy.
Mhm.
So that's why I've been trying to reach out to those people. I need people to realize that spouse is not going to always be there, and
Mhm.
life insurance could help replace that income. We can set it up to where it replaces that income. We can set it up to where it's also going to pay your mortgage. We could set it up to where it's also going to set some money back for emergency. So there's
Mhm.
different ways of setting up your policy, and you could also set up your policy to where you can use it as a pension. So
Mhm.
set up the policy, make that be your retirement. Let
Yeah.
your let the district or whoever or whatever company do what they're going to do, but
Mhm.
set yourself up with something outside of your work because you are in control of that policy,
Mhm.
not your job.
And don't keep it a secret from your family is the other thing that I
No,
want to
no,
share.
no.
Please don't keep it a
Right.
secret from your family. This young lady, her dad got a policy set down with someone, and he says, "Hey, this is going to pay your house off if something were to ever happen to you." Well, something happened, and the agent who wrote that policy found out 2 years later to put in the claim for that young lady, and she ended up losing the house during that process because he didn't know that his client had passed away, and she ended up getting
Mm,
the money that was meant for her, but of course the intention of what it was meant for,
was too
unfortunately,
late.
it was too late.
Sure.
And like you said, having to sell your home after your
Mhm.
husband passed away, and having to go through that, she had to sell the house that her dad literally wanted to leave that legacy.
Mhm.
Proverbs 13 and 22, a good person leaves an inheritance for his children's children.
Yes.
I mean, he was living that.
Inheritance.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Did I say policy instead of
No,
inheritance?
you're fine. Your
Yeah.
inheritance. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
policy, but it was an inheritance
Yeah,
policy.
leaves the inheritance for his children's children. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
talking
No,
policy.
I got you.
Yeah, a good man, a good person leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So he wanted to live that. And there's so many people who have the opportunity now. Kim Smith is able to work together. I'm able to work with you, and together we can come up with a deal, a plan, whatever you want,
Yeah,
and make it possible. Life Insurance Awareness Month is around the corner, 2 weeks
it
away.
is. It
So
is.
why not start today?
Okay.
Because the process, it's a process.
Yep,
And, and doing the homework, you sound like a person who loves to do homework with those two
I
degrees,
do.
girl.
I do. I'm a
Congratulations.
big learner. I really am. I love to learn as much as I can. So,
Yes.
but yeah. So
Well,
yeah,
Awesome.
and you know what? The other thing is, make sure you get an agent that's going to take care of you, because that girl you were talking about, that's on that agent as well. Because the agent should have been checking in, and the agent should have known when their client passed away.
mhm,
Maybe a day or two, maybe a week too, but not 2 years later. They should
yeah.
have been keeping up. They should have
Sure.
kept following up with their family at least once
Mhm,
a month. Follow up with with the people. And if you've got an agent who's not even giving a rat's butt about you, and you've signed a policy with them a year or two ago and you still have never heard back from them, but your policy keeps renewing, well, they keep getting that annual renewal. They keep
mhm,
getting their portion. Well, why are they not taking care of you better? Why are they not checking with you? And so
mhm,
that's when you got to ask yourself, am I right with am I with the right agents and the agency, or do I need to look elsewhere? Because maybe there's a better policy out there that that agent's not telling you, because the agent was looking out for themselves more than they were looking out for you.
mhm.
So
And we just don't operate like that in these
Or
parts.
perhaps your life situation has changed and you need a change of policy.
yeah,
Mhm,
yeah,
Yeah. Or
you can.
perhaps your life situation, your circumstances have changed, requiring a different policy. And
Mhm.
that
Yep,
person should be familiar with what's happening. This
exactly.
mhm.
has been incredible. I would definitely say a part two, Janelle,
Yes. Well, yes,
with
Kim will
Kim.
come back next month for Life Insurance Awareness Month so we can have this
Awesome.
conversation all
Wonderful.
over again and come back with some more fun stories. But I want to hear your love story again and again. I can never get tired of hearing your love story, Kim.
We
That's
love telling it. We love sharing our
No,
testimony.
not at
We
all.
both do. We both love sharing our testimony, and we keep being told we need to write a book, and we haven't done it yet. And I'm like, the Lord's
Oh,
going to tell me when.
absolutely.
And it
yes.
just, I appreciate you letting me come on here and talking to me. I was kind of like, I told my husband before I got on here, I was like, I don't know what it is, but you're the third person who has actually reached out to me in the last couple of months and has said, hey, would you come tell your story? And I'm like, okay. I actually had the Marquee or Mark's Who's Who. It's like the biggest Who's Who company ever reach out to me, and I'm actually a member of the Who's Who now. And I'm like, when they called me, I was just like, I don't think I qualify for that. And she was like, well, just tell me about you. And so I told her, she goes, oh my gosh, you most certainly do qualify. As many years as you've been in the business and everything you've been through and how you've overcome so much. And I'm like,
Yes.
but I don't see it that way. I see it as my testimony. I see it as just something to help somebody else at the right time, you know.
Yes.
And there's always a part of our testimony that's going to help somebody else, and we have to be willing to share that. And if we don't share it, you're missing out, because the Lord's put that person in front of you for that reason, and the Lord has you in that place for that reason. And I always, always, always say there is a reason for everything, and everything has a reason. And if you wind up being
Absolutely.
late for a job, or you wind up being late, here or there, when you get there, along the way, look at what you missed. And there was
Mhm.
probably this big wreck, or there was probably this something else, or somewhere this, or you kept from being, hurt, or you kept from somebody getting you, or whatever it may be. But there is always a reason
That's right.
that something happens. As long as it is you being 100% real with yourself, and not, oh, I just don't want to do it. I ain't going to go. I'm going to be late. I'm going to purposely be late. That's not right. That's not what it is. It's if you have everything in the world has gone wrong, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm late. I didn't mean to be late. Look at what is going on in the path in front of you. When you get to that place, look at what you passed. Look at what's been there. I've had several people tell me, or before, I had somebody tell me, well, you're late for church. I said, nope, I got here when God wanted me to be here. There was a
Mhm.
reason that I'm
I
here
love
right
it.
now. Not because you wanted me to be here, but he needed me to see something or do something before I got here. So I
Yes.
got here when he wanted me to be here. So I got here with you guys,
And if
and he was ready for me to be
yes,
here.
and if they are in their moment, they will
Yes.
realize why they were there when they were supposed to be there, right? Instead
Exactly.
of
Yes.
focusing on you. But I also want to take a minute just to
Yes.
salute your sons. I want to salute your
Yes.
sons because your story
Yes.
together is incredible.
Yes.
And when you mentioned that you stayed on your youngest son's couch,
Yeah.
that did something for me. You may not realize the magnitude of your story because it's you're in it, but from
Mhm.
someone on the outside looking at the fullness of your story. Your sons, I don't know them, but they're mighty men. They are
They
mighty
are.
men, and God bless them. Whoever has them in their lives, they have each have those women have an incredible man beside them because they've walked the journey with you. And for the youngest one to have mom stay on his couch until she was able to get up and go on her own, that's powerful. And you
Yes.
did that. We know God does it all, but you, Kim, give
Yeah.
yourself that credit. You did that. And
Yes.
I'm glad I have the pleasure of seeing you and speaking with you now before you get to that other platform, because maybe I won't be able to afford a ticket. So thank
No,
you.
we're not speaking lack. We don't speak lack either in this
So thank
space.
you.
It's Financial Power Fridays.
All right.
We do not
So
speak
I'm
lack
speaking
in this
power to
space.
her. Thank you. So Kim, I will be able to afford a ticket.
There you go. You
We're
will.
gonna be on the front
I'll
row.
make sure y'all are on the front row, that you're right there sitting
Yes.
beside me, because you guys were the first ones to find me.
Yes. Well, we
You both were the ones that found me first. Y'all are my first podcast ever.
awesome. Oh,
I
I
love
feel
it.
so
I
special.
love
That
it.
is so
I love
awesome.
it.
But it's what God wanted to happen.
I love it.
We just met, and it's just like,
Absolutely.
hey, I want to provide value to you, Kim, and how you provided value to me tonight, and Yolanda tonight, and whoever will listen to this broadcast beyond tonight. You provided so much value, and I want to say thank you. And
Thank
I
you.
cannot thank you
Thank you.
enough for carving out this time on a Friday night. I know there were many places that you could be in your garden with your husband, on a Friday night. So say we thank him for letting us borrow you
That's it.
this evening. So tell him thank you
I
for
will. I will.
and for us, and
Absolutely.
do come back, do share again.
Mhm.
We definitely next month is Life Insurance Awareness Month. You've
Okay.
poured a lot into us tonight. But more importantly, there's so much
Yes.
power in your story, and you are a powerful woman, Kim Smith, and we do appreciate you. And are there any last words that you want to share with us tonight?
I just want to share this, that what comes around goes around. And so my husband and I had to actually allow our sons at the late ages of 20s, in their 20s, come and live with us and sleep in one of our spare rooms, because one went through first divorce and the other one, he needed to. And so I applaud any man who comes in and takes in another woman's children as their own. And as he always says, he's not just a stepfather, but he is the one who stepped up when the others couldn't. And so I applaud them as well. And so I just want people to understand what goes around comes around. And the Lord is always going to have a reason to bless you in one way or the other. But you have to be able to sit back and look at what that blessing is and quit looking at it as a
Amen.
crutch and as something bad. Look at it as a preview of a gift that you're fixing to get.
Mm.
Amen. Kim,
Woo!
so I
Love it,
love
love it.
love stories. Is your husband there? Is your husband there? Can he just show his face
Yeah,
on the
he's
screen so we
here.
can say hello?
Let me get him.
Oh,
Please.
I love you. You like,
We
yeah.
need, we need to meet the man, all right? We need
Yes,
to meet the
yes.
great man.
And you know what, Yolanda, what she shared, and having to come to, I call it a come to Jesus meeting with God, but it's saying, God, this is
Yes.
all of what you brought me through. This is all of the things that I know that I don't want in a
Yes.
man. And I know in your word and standing on the truth, and that my steps are ordered by you, God. And I told him, I said, you cannot have this written in the book of
Absolutely.
life for this to be going this way in my life, because you said my steps are ordered in you, God. And sure enough, then that's when,
Absolutely.
God said, okay, she's ready.
Well, y'all have to do with a picture because evidently he ran to go
That's
run an errand.
fine.
So
We'll take the picture.
this is me, and
Oh,
I'm trying to get away from the
beautiful.
Mr.
This is
Smith,
this is
Mr. and
Mr.
Mrs.
Smith.
Smith.
Yes,
Awesome. He's handsome.
this
Beautiful
was
couple. I
this
love
was
it.
my graduation. One of
Thank
my
you for
graduation
sharing.
pictures. Yeah, that was one of my
Beautiful.
graduation pictures. So,
Awesome. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thanks
Thank you
for
for sharing.
sharing.
hey, y'all
And
are welcome. Y'all are
and
welcome.
thank you so much for the difference that you're making for families and for people.
Yes.
And I just want to say thank you.
Well,
And I
thank
can't
you
thank you
both for
enough. And
doing this.
it's been a true honor. It's been a true pleasure. And
A
anything
blessing.
last for you, Yolanda, before we let Kim go?
I think I've asked what I wanted to ask within this time frame. I just want to say thank you for being willing to share your testimony. Everyone, people may have a testimony, but some people keep it to themselves. But you recognize the power in your story. And when you share that, it empowers other people. Within this time frame, I have been empowered. You've given me a lot to think about. Um, you've given me some of my next steps. And I am going to have people that I know double back and watch this on YouTube or the other platforms that it may stream on afterwards. So thank you I thank God for what He poured into you and that you're willing
Thank
to pour into other people. So thank you. My cup runneth over.
Yes.
thank
Well,
you all both. I
God,
really do appreciate it. Oh
you're
wow.
welcome. God makes no mistakes. We are have a friendship for life now, and I thank God, also for this evening. And as we all say, be, do, and have the greatness that you desire, because the greatness is in you. And Kim, I am so glad that you recognize your greatness in yourself. and keep on keeping on, sister. So thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
y'all.
Thank you guys for joining
Yes.
Power Fighters Live. Tune in each and every Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Watch the replay. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. Share this episode with a friend. Share it with someone that you love because everyone needs this information if they don't already have it. So please share the blessing. Take care and be blessed, everyone. Have a great one.
God
Thanks.
bless y'all.
God bless you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.